Polyatomic ions are groups of ions, because that's what poly means, is many. And we have many atoms, poly, many, atomic, small particles. And ions means anything with a charge. So you want to think about polyatomic ions as like groups of friends or little cliques, if you will, or a team, and they always act together. They're always the same set of atoms put together to be a team. And I've put the list of 8 that you need to know on your periodic table. You need to start being able to recognize them as a team. So anytime you see a series of capital letters, capital C, capital O with a subscript 3 behind it, you need to realize that's a group. It has its own name. That's carbonate. Okay? So polyatomic ions are groups of atoms with a charge. Think of them as giant ions is what they are. How to use them? You use them in the same way you use monoatomic ions, the ones that we have been practicing with. You just now have to pay attention to more things. You'll recognize, for the most part, there's a couple of exceptions. If it's a polyatomic ion, it's going to end in 8 instead of "-ide". Okay? So again, make it so you can see it. Sodium is a +1. And remember, if you write all of your ions down with their charges, you won't need to go back and forth with your periodic table. Silver with a Roman numeral 1 means that that's a +1 charge. Nitrate. Ammonium is the only positive polyatomic ion. Kids get in trouble with this one because they think it looks like, oh, it should be Am. No, it isn't. All right, so there are the charges. Works the same way. The goal is to be neutral as a compound. So I have a +1 to -1. Same thing as before. I write all my ions. You always keep subscripts. And so you just write NaC2H3O2. That's a 3. That's even worse. +1, -1, that means they cancel out already. So big A, little g, capital N, capital O. Make sure that your polyatomic ions, your letters are the same size. Okay, now here, these aren't going to equal 0. And just like before, you would sometimes write the ion more than one time. Okay, we now have to write the whole polyatomic ion more than one time. To show that I need multiples of a polyatomic ion, the only time you need this is on polyatomic ion, you're going to use parentheses. You can start a formula with parentheses. You write the whole ion formula inside the parentheses, so the N, the H, and the 4. How many did I need? I needed 3. And now I write a capital P, a capital O with a subscript 4. And that's ammonium phosphate. Also a fertilizer. Okay? So same thing. Write your ions with the charges. Big C, big O, subscript 3. Bicarbonate. So a +2 and a -2 equals 0. This is the active ingredient in Tums, or what is chalk and limestone, all that kind of stuff. +1, -2. So I need another one of these. Now I'm not going to put potassium in parentheses because this isn't in the box of polyatomic ions. K is by itself. So K, subscript 2, capital S, capital O, subscript 4. I have a +2 and a -1. I would need 2 of these so that the whole thing equals 0. So I'm going to put the bicarbonate ion in parentheses. Notice I'm not keeping the charges. The charges are just for you to see, to get a visual for, oh yeah, this needs to equal 0, because +1 + 1 -2, that's going to equal 0. +2 -1 -1, that will equal 0. But I don't bring the charges into the formula. The only thing I keep in the formula are any subscripts that the polyatomic ion has, or for me when I'm adding to tell someone how many ions I actually need. So that's how to use and write formulas with polyatomic ions. You will need to go backwards. Some people find this easier because they're like, oh yeah, multiple capital letters, and your eye is just immediately going to go to that part on your periodic table, and you're just going to like, oh yeah, here it is, and you're just going to write down what CO3 stands for, which is really what you're doing here. So I look at H, and then I have CO3. I don't need to do anything with the subscripts. Now I look, manganese is a transition element. You still need to remember that because this is still going to be a thing. I'm going to put parentheses because I need that for my Roman numeral. And since this is in parentheses, it's telling me, aha, that is a polyatomic ion. I need to look at my chart and figure out what SO4 is. We'll come back and do the math later. Titanium is a transition element. OH is in parentheses. It's definitely a polyatomic ion. Lead is a transition element, folks. Make sure you give it its parentheses. NO3 is nitrate. SN is tin, also a transition element. Aluminum is not a transition element. Remember, you have to have 4 energy levels, and it doesn't. So I don't need parentheses for Roman numeral. All right, now to do math. You always, just like before, have to start with the negative ion. So sulfate is a -2. I have 2 of them. I only have 1 of these manganese. So some number up here for the charge has to give me 0. So something -2 -2 equals 0. Well, if I have 4 -2 -2, that would be 0. So this charge becomes my Roman numeral. I write a Roman numeral 4 there. I have 2 hydroxides. Each one has a -1 charge. So some number, subtract 2, gives me 0, and that would be 2. Nitrate, also a -1. There's a lot of -1 ions. So some number -2 gives me 0. Okay, phosphate is a -3, but I have 4 of these suckers. I have 3 of these tin ions. So there's a lot here. 3, 6, there's -12 here. Equals 0. So somehow I have to have a +12 divided by these 3 ions. So if this was a +4. Okay, so that would be a +12, that would be a -12, that would all equal 0. It's just divided amongst these 7 ions. So again, that is the Roman numeral. not the subscript. Okay? So study this a little more. Most people can do the naming fine. It's figuring out what the charge is on the transition element that starts to cause them grief. Okay? Remember, you're using your the ability to add and subtract positive and negative numbers, your goal, because this compound must be electrically neutral. So all the ions that are in it must equal 0 when they're all added up.